Financial freedom. You hear that phrase thrown around all the time, right? But for most of us, it feels like this impossible dream. Well, what if I told you it's not a dream at all? What if it's a destination with a clear, proven roadmap to get there? Today, we're going to unpack one man's absolutely incredible journey from having literally 1 cent to his name to achieving complete financial freedom. And we're going to walk through the exact steps he took. All right, let's start at rock bottom. You see that number on the screen? Yeah, that's not a typo. It's 1 single cent. That was the exact amount of money a guy named Grant had in his bank account. He had another one with just over $2 in it. I mean, can you even imagine? That was his reality. So picture this. Grant's 24 years old and he's just been fired. With nowhere else to go, he has to move back into his parents' home. And like he says in that quote, he felt like a total loser. Every single night, his parents would ask him that same question you just dread hearing. Hey, did you find a job today? And every night, it was the same answer. After sending out over 200 resumes and not getting a single call back, he wasn't just broke, he was completely broken. Then one day, feeling completely defeated, he drives out to an empty field and just lies there, staring up at the sky. He's thinking, I did everything right, I have a good degree, I got good grades, so how did I end up here? Unemployed, broke, living with his parents. And in that moment, something just snapped. He decided enough is enough. He set this wild, audacious goal for himself to achieve complete financial freedom. He had no clue how he was going to do it, but the decision was made. And what came next was just this intense 5-year hustle. As you can see here, he just devoured every book on money he could get his hands on. He worked any and every job he could to scrape together some capital. He launched his first company, and it failed. But then he launched a second one, learning from all those mistakes. And incredibly, after 5 years of just relentless effort, he hit his goal. He was financially free. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did he pull that off? Well, through that whole crazy journey, Grant didn't just get rich. He built a system, a 7-stage roadmap that he wrote down so that literally anyone could follow the same path. So let's break down exactly what that roadmap looks like. Here they are, the 7 stages of freedom. And this isn't some high-level theory, okay? It's a practical, step-by-step path. It starts with something as simple as getting clarity on where you are right now, and it takes you all the way to abundant wealth. Let's zoom in on a couple of the most important milestones on this journey. Let's jump ahead to stage 4. Stability. Oh man, this is a huge one. This is the first time you can actually truly feel secure. Just imagine it. All your high-interest debt is gone. No more credit card bills. No personal loans hanging over your head. On top of that, you've got at least 6 months of living expenses saved up in an emergency fund. This is the point where you can finally take a deep breath, knowing you've built a real foundation. And now for the holy grail, right? Stage 6, financial independence. This is the stage Grant hit in just 5 years. It's the point where your investment portfolio is making enough money on its own to cover your life. You get off that hamster wheel of working because you have to. Work becomes a choice, something you do because you want to, not because you need the paycheck. Now, that is true freedom. But here's the thing. Just having a map isn't enough. To actually move through these stages, Grant says you need a massive, fundamental shift in how you think about 2 really important things: money and time. So, what's your most valuable asset? We're all taught to think it's money, but you can lose money and you can always earn it back. Time, though, that's finite. Once you spend an hour, it is gone forever. And when you really get that, it changes every single decision you make. Like, would you really drive across town for 30 minutes just to save €5 on groceries if you knew you could have used that time to work on a skill that earns you €50 an hour? Valuing your time is step 1. Okay, so once you value your time, you need to know your destination. So let me ask you, what's your number? How much money do you actually need to be financially free? It's not some vague, impossible figure. There's a really simple formula to figure it out. It's called the 25X rule. And honestly, this is a brilliant little hack that turns the fuzzy idea of financial freedom into a hard, concrete target. This is the actual number you're aiming for. And here's how simple it is. You just take your total annual living expenses and you multiply them by 25. So for example, if you live on about $40,000 a year, your financial independence number is $1 million. And just like that, the goal isn't this vague get-rich idea anymore. It's reach 1 million. That specific target makes the entire journey feel so much more real and honestly achievable. Okay, So you've got the right mindset and you have your target number. Now what? Now it's time to actually build the engine that's going to get you there. This is where the plan really turns into action. The fuel for this engine is the magic of compounding. You've probably heard of it, but it's this amazing idea that your money starts making its own money. Every single euro you invest today isn't just a euro, it's a seed. It's a seed that grows, and then the fruit from that growth plants even more seeds. You do that for 10 or 20 years, and suddenly you have a forest. But to plant seeds, you first need to find them in your budget. Grant says the fastest way to find that cash is to get a handle on the big three expenses: housing, transportation, and food. This is where most of us just let money slip through our fingers without even realizing it. So ask yourself, could you live in a slightly smaller place? Could you drive a more practical car? Cook a few more meals at home? Optimizing these three areas doesn't just save you a few euros, it frees up some serious capital to start building your engine. But just saving money, that's playing defense. To really accelerate your journey, you have to play offense too. You have to increase your income. This is where side hustles are an absolute game changer. Maybe it's investing in real estate, starting a small online business, or freelancing with a skill you already have. And Grant argues that the single most profitable skill anyone can learn to boost their income is selling. Because really, whether you're in a job interview or running a business, you're always selling. Let's just bring this all back for a second. This entire roadmap, it came from a guy who had 1 cent to his name. He went from feeling like an absolute loser living in his parents' house to complete financial independence in just 5 years. His story isn't just inspiring, it's actual proof that this path is possible for anyone who's willing to walk it. So, as we wrap this up, the question isn't whether this is possible. The real question is for you. Your journey starts right now. Looking at this entire path we've talked about, what's the very first smallest step you can take today?